The Department of Housing and Urban Development is taking steps toward banning smoking in the nation's public housing. We've got the details. Keep it right here. Your real estate news starts now. Thank you for watching the Real Estate News. I'm your host, Stacy Hansen. Let's look at your headlines. The Department of Housing and Urban Development is another step closer to banning smoking in the nation's public housing. If their proposal is successful, over 3,000 public housing agencies will need to ban smoking within the following 18 months. Housing Wire reports that the ban would prohibit lit tobacco products in all living units, indoor common areas, administrative offices, and all outdoor areas within 25 feet of the buildings. According to HUD Secretary Castro, the proposed rule would help improve the health of the more than 760 children living in public housing, as well as the elderly. They also hope to avoid preventable fires and repairs. It's estimated that smoking causes over 100,000 fires every year and is the lead cause of fire-related deaths in multifamily buildings. An eye-opening new look at prices and paychecks sheds new light on the wide range of purchasing power in cities around the world. Yahoo Real Estate's investigation focused specifically on the price of a Big Mac and an iPhone 6. A Big Mac costs around 11 minutes of work across the U.S., but cost over an hour of labor in Mexico City. In the Kenyan capital of Nairobi, you'd have to work almost 3 hours to afford a Big Mac. As far as the iPhone 6, you'd work about 3.5 8-hour days to afford it in Chicago. But in Cairo, Egypt, you'd have to work a whopping 44 8-hour days to afford the same phone. According to UBS Wealth Management's Prices and Earnings report, the amount of labor required to buy something speaks to both the purchasing power and cost of these items locally. Some Instagram stars shared their home photography tips with Zillow, and their advice will help you take more beautiful photos of your home. They say try to use natural light as much as possible. Open up all your interior windows and turn on all your interior lights. Also note the best time of day for natural light in each room. You'll also want to switch things up by varying your shooting angle. One suggests shooting from an ant's point of view from below and then from a bird's eye view from above. Move around and try many different approaches. Sometimes it takes a whole lot of pictures to get that one perfect photo. Another photographer suggested portraying a house as happily lived in by leaving books, games, fruit, or flowers around on tables. And of course, you want to take a photo highlighting just your best pieces and crop out the things you aren't happy with. Many architects and designers are predicting an end to the popularity of the open floor plan. Designers in the UK are seeing more families requesting what is called a broken plan home. This type of home typically includes rooms for studios, dens, TV rooms, and nooks. Split-level floors and sliding partitions are often used by architects to divide up open spaces in broken plan homes. It seems walls are starting to come back into fashion, and some say it's due at least in part to modern technology. As Dezeen.com reports, the desire for this fragmented space stems from family members needing to have quiet screen time with phones and laptops. As more people are beginning to work from home, that separate office area is becoming more important. Broken plan layouts allow families to use their devices in private and watch different TV shows at the same time. The demand for large open kitchen and dining spaces remains high, though, and even many broken plan homes are still incorporating that into their designs. But the trend of loft living in large industrial-like spaces appears to be waning. Stick around. We'll be right back with more real estate news right after this. Welcome back to the Real Estate News. I'm here now with our news partner, Kirsten Goggin from Century 21 Affiliated. Welcome back, Kirsten.
Thanks, Stacy. How are you?
I'm great, but I hear you're even better. You have an exciting news update for us.
Yes. Savannah and I are so excited. We already had a really cool home search tool for our buyers, but we found one that was even better. And since 92% of buyers start their searches online, it's really going to be a powerful search tool for buyers to be able to look for homes and get the most accurate, up-to-date information. So it's really, really good stuff.
So tell us about this. What do you do?
So you go there, it's kind of similar to some of the other secondary sites. However, it's much better and a lot more robust. This one's going to provide you a completely ad-free experience. Also, we don't sell your information. You have your own password protected account that you log into, and you can search for homes, change all the different search criteria. It works with, you can search by map or GPS searching. You can even draw an area and just pull up what's for sale right there. There's community and school reports, including all the current school ratings and all of that great stuff. You can do a tag-based search. So if there's something very specific that is a deal breaker for you in a home, you can add that in there, and it's going to filter it, narrow it down to the exact search criteria that you're looking for.
So if people are used to using, say, like Trulia or Zillow, are these some things that they can't do on those sites?
I don't think they're quite as robust as this. I mean, I'm sure you can do a lot of the similar features by like searching by map and probably saving your favorites and all that great stuff. But again, the difference is ours is going to be ad-free. And if you do inquire for information on a property, you're not going to be getting a million phone calls from a million lenders and tons of other agents. We don't sell your information. So you can get one quick response back from Savannah or myself. Also, the really super cool thing about this is you can collaborate. So if you save a property, it's saved to your notebook, they call it. And you can invite people, because often, you've got a spouse, or, if you're a first-time buyer, maybe your parents are involved or your friends. You can invite them to look and collaborate with you on your notebook. And they have, like, for each saved property, there's like a pros and cons list. You can make notes. There's scorecards. It's super cool. And then if they're sharing your notebook, you can all leave notes for each other and kind of help get their feedback on the properties that you're looking for. So that is a really cool tool that I really like a lot.
So is there an app for this as well?
Yes, and I'm so glad you asked about that because, everyone's on the go, and, sometimes if you're waiting, you want to be able to look at properties on your phone. This has a very, very intuitive and user-friendly app. It's actually the same, the person who designed it designed the Weather Channel's app. So it's very, very robust, and it's super cool. So you can search by map. If you see a for sale sign, you just pull up your app, and it will give you all the details of the property right there, and you can either rule it out or save it to your notebook.
Wow, that's really cool. Now, you were offering, I remember last time, the spring incentive for those that want to list in the spring. Are you still offering that now?
Yes, let's not forget about the sellers. It is a fabulous time because usually people wait till spring, which is okay. I mean, you technically want to list a little bit sooner so you beat the rush because it's supply and demand. If, there's fewer properties on the market to choose from, you're probably going to get, closer to your asking price, if not over, if there's bidding wars. People are looking for homes all year long. So it's important to, list. If you're thinking of listing, the sooner you list, the better. But even if you are thinking of waiting till spring, you definitely want to have spoke to an agent, get in touch with me, have me come out either this month or in January. We want to be up and running. Probably January, February, March is when everyone's going to start hitting the market. So yes, I will update my package to include your own CW commercial for your property and your personal property website. Just check out kjsellsmadison.com for further details. If you meet with me before the end of the year, I will throw in some extra marketing that usually is on a premier package.
Well, that sounds great, Kirsten. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. We have more coming up. Welcome back. Next, we have Alan Fetter. He's a realtor with Keller Williams. Welcome, Alan. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
So you're working in the Madison area. Can you tell us about how the market's doing right now?
The Madison market is actually doing very well right now. We're just seeing kind of a steady rise in housing prices. We're seeing days on market fairly low, and property values continuing to rise.
That all sounds great. Now, you hear a lot about buyer's market versus seller's market. Would you say right now it's one or the other, and what's really the difference between the two? Can you have them both at the same time?
Typically, you really can't have them both at the same time. Right now we're experiencing a seller's market because we're a little bit low in our inventory. And the way we look at that is kind of look at all the properties on the market and how long it would take to sell them all at the current rate. And if it's below 6 months, then we're in a seller's market generally, and if we're above 6 months, we're in a buyer's market.
So what about the market for single-family homes and condos? You hear that condos are typically a tougher sell, with single-family home prices maybe being a little more affordable, it might be harder to sell. What do you say to that?
They are different markets, absolutely. I wouldn't necessarily say one is harder than the other. With a condominium, you might need a specialist like a realtor to navigate through some of the ins and outs as far as the intricacies of a condominium association and getting involved in that process. But both markets are equally good, and it just depends on your needs.
So what kinds of people would you say buy a condo over a single-family home? Is it usually people just starting out or people kind of finishing up and retiring?
That's a great question. Generally speaking, there are categories of people that go towards the condominium market. Usually we see younger folks who just don't want all of the maintenance of a house. And then we see the empty nesters that also have seen the kids go away. And so they're same thing. They don't want all the maintenance of a house. So they like the idea, the simplicity of a condominium versus younger families, folks that like to stay closer to home. Don't mind all the work that's involved in purchasing a single-family home.
So just really quickly, where do you look to start buying?
Most people, what you'll see these days, everybody's heading to the internet. That's really where most folks start gathering their information. It's where I would go as well. But once you're ready to make that decision, you do really want a professional to guide you through the process. And really what I tell folks is if you're investing in real estate, you make money when you buy the property, not when you sell it. So you really want someone to guide you through that process. Make sure you're getting the most bang for your buck, so to speak.
Well, great. So great to have you here, Alan. Thanks for stopping by.
Oh, thank you very much.
Stay tuned. We got more coming up. Welcome back to the Real Estate News. With me now is Jill Frank. She's a realtor at Coldwell Banker Success. Thank you, Jill, for joining us. So I'm going to turn this over to you. What questions do you hear a lot from people?
Well, from buyers, the question I hear most often is, what can I afford to buy? And it's great that we live here in Madison because there are so many great lending resources here in the area that I can refer them to answer that question. From sellers, it's always, what is my home worth? Is this a good time to sell? And what are some improvements that I can make to my home to increase its value?
So what are some of the answers that you give to them on those?
Well, there are so many different resources now available at our fingertips with smartphones and all the information online. There are any number of applications that they can use at any time.
So what online tools are out there for people to use?
Well, again, there are so many different ones that are out there, and I always encourage my clients to experiment with different ones. It depends on the device, whether it's an iPhone or an Android that they have, or if they're using a computer. Some of the most common ones, Realtor.com and Redfin are two that are tied to the MLS, and so the information there's a little bit more real time in terms of what's active on the market or if it has an offer pending. The two most popular ones nationwide are Zillow and Trulia. Also, lenders are getting into the game of the tools, and so home scouting is one that some area lenders are using that have a little bit more of a lender focus in terms of answering that question, what can I afford to buy? But again, those are also tied to the MLS, so the information is very current.
So tips for people in trying to navigate all these online tools that are out there. I imagine you've used quite a few of them. Any tips and tricks for people?
Yep, and again, there's so many out there and they're changing all of the time. But again, back to the questions that I get asked, one of the questions is, what is my home worth? And so many of the different tools have some sort of tool to figure out what is my home worth. And it's important to realize that those are national averages when you go and do those estimates and all of those things, and to compare and contrast maybe 3 or 4 different applications, and then get your realtor involved and say, okay, these are these national averages, how can I apply that to my home, my street, my neighborhood? And then also realizing Zestimate right there on Zillow's website has an 8% mean error rate. So in a $300,000 home, that's a $24,000 error possibility. And again, that's where the realtor is important to get involved because they can help personalize that national average. For buyers, I love the little draw the search area tool that they have on a lot of the applications as well. It's kind of nice to be able to personalize it to maybe your place of work or a school or a park that you're trying to stay close to.
Those are good tips to use. It's definitely an online world that we live in today. Well, thanks so much for stopping by today, Jill. It was nice to have you.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. We have more coming up. And welcome back. My next guest is Kevin Campos with Howard & Williams. Welcome, Kevin. Nice to have you here. So how long have you been in real estate?
Thanks for having me, Stacy. I've been in real estate, I'm going on my 13th year now, and I came from the insurance and financial services industry. I'm a full-time realtor, and I actually got my broker's license a few years ago, so I'm also an associate broker with Howard & Williams.
Well, congratulations on that. Now, I'm sure you know that a lot has changed in the past 13 years in technology, in the world in general. How are you keeping up with the changes with real estate?
Well, yes, it is changing every day, and something that we're actually doing coming here up in the next week is we're launching a new website. Today, everything is going mobile, so a lot of websites aren't mobile optimized, so we have a new mobile optimized website that you'll be able to pull in front of a house and check out our website, and the house will pop up and it'll fit the screen. You won't have to scroll around, and you can tap on different buttons and everything from giving us a call, schedule a showing, all from your mobile phone or tablet.
Can you see photos of the home inside or anything like that?
Yeah, actually all the photos that will be on the MLS, it pulls directly from the MLS. So you can see photos and all the statistics on the house. So yeah, it's a pretty neat system.
Do you just have to type in the address, or how does that work? How do you pull up the house?
Actually, it's all based on a mapping system. So you'll be sitting in front of a house and you can click on, it'll prompt you what to do, but you can click on that area. You can view homes near me, and all the homes within your vicinity will pop up. And it'll show little houses. So you can click on the house, and all that information for that specific house will pop up, along with the pictures and the information.
That's cool. So that's available now or coming soon?
Yeah, we're launching in the next week. There's other things out there similar to that, but this will be totally mobile optimized for Howard & Williams.
That's cool. Now tell me about Howard & Williams. Not everyone's heard of them. I think they're newer, right?
Yeah, actually, we've actually been around since 2008 now.
Okay.
And we're just, they call us as like a boutique company, if you've heard that term. We basically have, about 13 agents, and we just kind of cater to personal service. I like to say, we're not the corporate, and we don't operate like the big box real estate companies. We don't have presidents and vice presidents. We're all just realtors and brokers, and just do our best to take care of our clients.
That's cool. That's good to see. So how are you different then? What sets you apart?
Well, basically, we just like that personal service. We answer our phones. We use different kinds of systems, like the new mobile optimization. I follow some different strategies from real estate education services, as far as keeping in touch with clients and newsletters. And it's really all about education these days. 90% of the transaction is really about educating clients. And just with our different systems, we don't just send, you'll used to see the just sold and just listed postcards. Well, we specialize and target different areas and clients, and sending out different kinds of letters, educating people on the value of their homes, and just make it more personalized one-on-one service.
Well, thanks, Kevin, for stopping by today.
Yeah, thank you very, very much for having me.
Stay tuned. We have more coming up. And welcome back to the Real Estate News. I'm now with Kathy Rock. She's a realtor at Shore West Realty. Welcome, Kathy. So tell us about Shore West Realtors.
Shore West is, it's like a mom and pop company, a family-owned company that started in 1946 after World War II. John Horning started this company in his home, and it's grown. It's 23 offices in southeastern Wisconsin now. The northernmost office is in Green Bay, and my office is in Janesville. We cover Rock County, Greene County. We are a wonderful team.
So you're focused mostly on southeast Wisconsin. I read that you've actually sell more homes in southeast Wisconsin than other companies. So how do you think that you've accomplished that?
Oh, it's our family. It's our family.
You've got a kind of a family vibe over there.
Family tradition. It's our mission statement starts with "We are a team," and my home office is a team. Any of us will help each other out. And our corporate office, we don't call it corporate, we call it support center. They support us. If we need help, we can go to the president and ask for advice. And it's our technology also that makes us big. Our signs have a phone number on them. If you call that phone number, you'll get a choice of 2 languages to learn about the house that it represents. And at the same time, the technology will text the listing agent and let them know that the person with that phone number is on the phone. So they'll call you back, perhaps, and talk to you at the peak of your interest. So that helps sell more homes.
Yeah, and clearly it's working well for you all, so congratulations on that. Now, are your services just in southeast Wisconsin, or do you expand beyond that?
We are local and we are global. We are an elite company that's affiliated with a company named Leading Real Estate Companies of the World. There's 500 companies that are invited to join that network. We have a person that we can refer you to in our support center, and she can find you a home in any of the continental United States. She can find you a home in 50 countries. They'll assist corporations to send someone to another country to work. They'll help them with their passport if they don't have a passport. They'll help them secure a work visa. We are global, not just southeastern Wisconsin.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, it's come a long way from the one-man shop that it was just after World War II. That's a great success story. Well, thanks so much for stopping by today, Kathy. It was wonderful to meet you.
Wonderful to be here. Thank you.
Stay tuned. We have more coming up. From all of us here, I want to thank our guests for their time today and also thank you for tuning in to your real estate news. I'm Stacy Hansen. We'll see you next time.